Hello everyone, in this video we will be looking into 5 aspects that needs to be remembered before preparing for the UGC-NET exam. So first thing is, who is eligible for this exam? There is always misconception about who is eligible for the UGC-NET exam. See, for instance, if you want to become an assistant professor and if you are having an undergraduation degree, that is not sufficient. You should go for a similar postgraduate degree. For instance, if you are having BCom, then you should go for MCom. Or else if you are going for MBA, for instance, it's a cross major. So therefore, you are eligible to prepare and study for the UGC-NET in management. UGC-NET exam is having nearly like 100 plus of specializations. It has UGC-NET in commerce, English, economics, geography. So many aspects are there. So where you are doing post graduation, in which specialization, you will be eligible to become an assistant professor in that area. So here the undergraduation doesn't matter, it's the post graduation. Suppose if you are, as I told you, from BCom, if you are going for MBA, then you are eligible to become an assistant professor in management. Or else if you are going for MCom, you are eligible to become an assistant professor in commerce. Or if you are preparing for MA English, then you are eligible to become an assistant professor in English. So it's the post graduation which decides what assistant professor you will become. So therefore the eligibility is, you should have a post graduation. Suppose in the first year you are clearing this exam, absolutely fine. When you are clearing this exam in the first year or in the second year, it does not have any problem with it. Or even after completing the post graduation level, of course you have all the time and you can clear this exam. So the eligibility is, you should have a post graduation. Even while doing the post graduation, you are absolutely eligible to clear this exam. And this is what the eligibility of UGC is about. The second thing that needs to be remembered here is the date and the preparation time when the exam is happening. See, before this pandemic time period, the UGC-NET used to be in the June and the December slot. But there is some disturbance happened because of the pandemic situation, and therefore there is a disturbance in the time frame. Now the next exam is in the October 6th, next month. Of course, now you cannot apply for it. Probably the next exam will be in the next year. I don't think this year the exam will happen because it's hardly like October, and the November, December will be getting over. Next year the exam might happen, maybe in the March, April or May, maybe in the June also. So therefore, you will be eligible to write the exam next year. You cannot apply for the coming exam. The date is almost over. So therefore, ensure that you can prepare for the next UGC-NET exam if you have not applied. Suppose if you have applied, all the best for it. And what is the preparation time that needs to be taken? The preparation time is, see, any competitive exam is having a different dimension. For instance, UPSC exam, it needs to be around 1 year or 2 years. Sometimes it might also be like 3 years. And SSC exam, maybe we can say you need to have an intense preparation for 1 year or 1 to 1.5 years. Or else if you are preparing for TNPSC, the Tamil Nadu Public Service Commission, or maybe the bank exam, it varies based on the posting and the grade that you are choosing. So it might take around 1 year. For UGC-NET exam, I would personally suggest that you should have at least a preparation time of 3 to 6 months. The time frame is very short. The reason is, see, this is the only exam where you should have post graduation as an eligibility. Even if you can become an IAS officer with your undergraduation degree, you can have a BCom and you can become an IAS, but you cannot become a professor with your undergraduation. You should have a post graduation. So therefore, you are having an enormous amount of time frame in the academics part. From 11th grade till your post graduation, you are studying about the same specialization. So therefore, the competition will be intense, in the sense all your competitors are having post graduation. So therefore, the preparation time 3 months, why I say is, since you are having this exposure for nearly like 8 to 10 years, so therefore 3 to 6 months of preparation would be sufficient, but you have to be like intense onto it, and there must be a lot of consistency. This is what we would say. So the eligibility is, you should have a post graduation, and even if you clear the exam while doing your post graduation, absolutely fine. It's a lifetime, the exam does not expire and you don't have to repeat it again. Once clear, it is having till your lifetime. You will be called as an assistant professor, and you can become an assistant professor anywhere in India, whether it's a state university or a central university or a colleges and autonomous or unaided or aided, everywhere you are eligible. And of course, there will be a lot of competition even after clearing. Some people will be having doctorates. Some will be having doctorates with experience. Some will be having doctorates with experience and the NET. So these are all your competitors even after clearing this exam. So the preparation part is, you should have around 3 to 6 months based on your caliber and based on your undergraduation, post-graduation technical skills. And the date is, as I told you, it will be like once a year you will be having, in a year there will be twice the exam, but due to some disturbance in the time frame, now the exam has been happening in the October month. Next year we are waiting for the notification. The third point that needs to be remembered is, see, the competitive exam, the basic criteria or the start of any competitive exam is looking into the past. What has happened? Any exam, see, for instance, take UPSC for a case. UPSC exam, if you want to prepare for it, you should look into the last 10 years question paper. The same is applicable for the UGC-NET also. If you are going to prepare for the UGC-NET, you need to know what is the history behind it. You need to see what has happened in the last 10 years, what questions have come, and each question, when you are looking into the question, it's not just the question, it's a concept. There's an history behind the question itself, because that question, there will be a word, and the word you need to research about, and then there will be 4 options. Though the question is having one option as the answer, but you need to look into all the 4 options and see in what way this option is connected with the question, in what way this option is not connected with the question, what is the history behind these options. So this is the way in order to study an MCQ for a competitive exam. So you have to start by looking into the last 10 years MCQ. No matter what, this must be the first step. And as you know that maybe some of you may be listening it for the first time, UGC-NET exam will be having 2 papers. First paper is common for everyone. Whoever is writing this exam, it's common for everyone. Paper 2 is the specialization. Suppose if you have studied MCom, basically commerce, so you will be writing a commerce paper. Your paper 2 will be commerce. Suppose MBA means you will be having management. English means it will be second paper, English specialization. So therefore the first paper is common for everyone. Read all the 10 past question papers. The same needs to be done for the paper 2 also, but there will be some divisions and some methodologies that will be changing. But the last 10 years question paper is mandatory. Now coming on to the fourth point that needs to be remembered is, I used to say this as 7:3 ratio. What do we mean by that? Because in paper 1 there are 10 units. And in paper 2 also there are 10 units. The most challenging part about the UGC-NET exam is about this one, because 20 units, isn't it? 10 units from paper 1 and 10 units from paper 2. Together this 20 units, and you need to complete this exam in a matter of 3 hours. So in 3 hours you have to think about 20 units, and this is the most challenging part during the exam. And it's not just about the preparation, you need to be very smart in changing your mind. You cannot think about one question and look into the other one. In a matter of 3 hours, around 150 questions from 20 units. This is the challenging part, and this is the reason why many people are not able to clear the exam. Once after reading an MCQ, when you go for the next one, you should not think about the previous one. So all this will be requiring a lot of practice, but apart from that, I would say a concept to call the 7:3 ratio. That is, in paper 1, for example, there are 10 units, isn't it? So in the 10 units, the first 7 units or any 7 units, you need to be strong in 7 units. The remaining 3 units, you don't have to be much strong, but ensure that you have gone through all the basic concepts about it. Some people may not be strong in mathematics. So there is a unit of mathematical reasoning. You don't have to study it much, but at least go through the basic concepts. Some of you may not be very good in reading comprehension, because the reading comprehension that we add in our school and college days is different from the UGC-NET. It will be almost competing with the CAT exam. So the reading comprehension is quite difficult. So if you are not very good in reading comprehension, I would not personally suggest you that you have to read a lot. You check whether you are sufficient to look into it, or else what we can do is at least try to solve the last 10 years question paper and look into some simple reading comprehension. So this kind of, you have to look into what trait you are having and which units will be inside your cup of tea, and which unit will be difficult for you. So you divide the entire UGC-NET paper 1 and paper 2 into 7:3 ratio. 7 units you have to be very strong, and the remaining 3 units you have to know the basic concepts. This is more than sufficient enough to clear the exam, because clearing this exam is not about getting 60% or 70%. You have to be on the top. It is basically on the percentile mode. So therefore, if 100 people are writing, you have to be on the top 3 and top 6 based on certain separations or divisions which is having JRF and UGC-NET. So basically we say you have to be on the top 6. Out of 100 people, you have to get on the top 6. So therefore, you will be clearing this exam. So follow this method 7:3. 7 units should be on our hand. Remaining 3 units, you should have some basic understanding. And the last point that needs to be remembered is the prescribed methodology. What do we mean by that? See, each unit is having a separate characteristic. For instance, if you ask about me, I will be having a different trait compared with you, isn't it? So likewise, each unit requires some aspect that needs to be followed. For teaching aptitude, for instance, teaching aptitude, you can look into the past 10 years question paper and also the basic concepts that is prescribed in the syllabus. In the research methodology, again the past 10 question paper you have to study, and the basic concepts that is mentioned in the syllabus that needs to be studied, and also any updations that has happened in the research part that you need to go through. For reading comprehension, you just have to ensure that you are good in reading. You don't have to read the past 10 question paper. There's no point in doing so. Maybe for a practice you can see, but does not guarantee you any success in that. Reading comprehension is basically about you have to ensure that you are reading the current aspect, not the previous one. Maybe you can look into any newspaper editorial part and you can read it, and you can develop your caliber onto your reading part. But does not mean that you have to look into the past question paper. This is what we mean by the prescribed methodology. Each unit requires some techniques. So we have to go by that way, because as a person who I have cleared this exam, I can say you that you cannot follow the same methodology for all the 10 units. Each unit needs to be addressed in a different dimension. So this is the reason why we are starting this UGC-NET coaching the coming Saturday and Sunday. So anyone is interested to join our session, the entire details will be given in the description. Please do look into it. And also we have published a book. If you are interested in looking into this UGC-NET exam, I know that the October month exam is very quick. People who have already applied, it's difficult to follow all that. But if your target is the next UGC-NET exam, the book will very much helpful for you, and also ensure that you can, in order to have a better understanding about the UGC-NET, you can join our session. The details will be given, and please do join, and also consider passing this information to people who are preparing for this exam. So with this information, and all the best for your preparation, and see you in the next video. Thank you. Please do like, share and subscribe. Thank you.